What's going on, people? Myke C-Town here with another Dead in Hip Hop solo album review. And today the album that I'm reviewing is SKECH185, He Left Nothing for the Swim Back. So I got put on a SKECH185 many years ago when he opened for Uncommon NASA in Atlanta, and I remember thinking at the time that his rap style was completely unhinged, you know, just a flurry of words constantly being thrown at you, and I spent the entire time watching him blown away, but also like trying to keep up. And not only was the dude an incredible kind of esoteric MC, he ended up being a really cool guy and super smart, because Dead in Hip Hop also did a video with Uncommon NASA and Sketch, and I was gonna link it here, but I can't seem to find it. But I know what happened, so I'm gonna have to ask the guys where that video is. But yeah, it was a really dope conversation too, so hopefully I can share it. Anyways, outside of features here and there, which have been dope, he hasn't released a full project since 2011's Analog Tape Dispenser. I'm not sure what tied him up, but this album definitely felt like the culmination of 10+ years of just angst and frustration being let out all at once. And perhaps that's what the title is referencing, you know, the idea of dumping everything you've got all at once instead of holding on to it. Jeff Markey is the producer for the album, and I got put on to him from his work with Arm & Hammer, and then checking out his last solo album that came out last year, which was really good. Not quite as intense as what he's doing on here, but still really good. And this album takes no time getting going. Right after we hit play, we're hit with some dirty, buzzed out productions that has these nasty but also futuristic sounds. It takes me back to some of that classic Can-Ox production, and I'm instantly in love. And Sketch takes no time getting busy, and it sounds just like I remember him. A flurry of words constantly hitting you in the face. And even without the lyrics, there are certain lines that immediately jump out at me. I was born in 85, but feel like 97 just, penning anthems to a burning century as the scenery erupts. Y'all know how much I love me some Big Just, so a reference is always welcomed, and penning anthems to a burning century, that's just so good. Shooting back is usually the only way to get shooters to stop shooting. Not enough white girls with Pepsi cans to shield the whole movement. I like that line a lot. It's just really clever to me. And you know, even if you don't pay attention to pop culture like that, you'll definitely remember the Kendall Jenner Pepsi ad. And I took these lines here to kind of represent how helpless someone can feel to stop neighborhood violence, and how people who are not in those environments will make suggestions on how to stop the violence from happening, but they're not immediate remedies, right? So when someone is getting shot at, a lot of times the only way to stop them from shooting you is to shoot them, right? Not everyone has time to wait for school programs and job fairs to take effect, which is something that made that Pepsi ad feel so hilarious to me, as if one, these folks actually give two shits about these conditions, or two, like rich white women holding hands with billion-dollar soft drink companies can stop the violence, right? And sorry, I got one more line that I want to call out because it's so good that I wish I wrote it myself. This is music for niggas that lift weights and read books. We're done bitching. Welcome, my safe space has a gun in it. So Badly Drawn Hero was another interesting one, as this glitchy beat, while super dope, is a bit pulled back in comparison to the previous track, but Sketch's delivery is even more intense. He comes off like this frantic street preacher that's prophetizing to you, you know? And the song has this nice kind of random atmosphere reference that I appreciated. But I love how the production is all over the place while still giving this kind of dirty, futuristic feel. J Street has horns that could have been pulled straight off an Ornette Coleman album, and the way they sit in the beat is just perfect. They're not too overpowering while still being a clear focal point of the beat, and it goes great with the delivery of the MCs, as this one features Still Rift, who kicks the track off beautifully, and it's closed out perfectly by Lamone Manuel. The River is one of the best tracks on here. I love the really dark and mysterious beat. It has these spooky swells going on, and it's really cool how it progresses. And once the drums actually come in, it feels so hard. And as the instrumental is progressing, Sketch starts to get more and more frantic. I absolutely love it. And I don't know if I'm reading into it wrong, but it comes off as this discussion around black struggle. You know, what does it mean? Is it necessary? You know, whether we're talking about slavery or institutionalized racism or even more commonplace civilian to civilian racism, it seems to be this take on what it means to go through this or continue it. Speaking in the terse manner of my forefathers, there's something in the water, screams, sins, sons and daughters. We all know the stories of slaves being brought to America on boats and how many of them died along the way for a myriad of reasons and ended up having the ocean, the waters, be their final resting place. So the line about the water containing screams, sins, sons, and daughters is both haunting and poignant. Oh, and I also love that co-flow patriotism reference that was in there. Up to speed. The beat is haunting with this creepy piano riff coupled with these really sad horn sounds, and I love the way those sounds mesh with the dirty drums. It's just perfect for what Sketch is doing. The headlines had birthdays before they became your entertainment. When the call penetrates, you feel a sinking sensation. He got closer to God standing at a train station. He got closer to God stalled at the expressway. And she got closer to God turning her bedroom into a painting. I feel like this is a statement on the commodification of human death. You know, average folks read about people dying and it doesn't do much more than give them this kind of morbid sense of entertainment. You know, we get pain and grief boners and no longer see the snuffing out of life as a tragedy, but more like a common part of living, you know. And the way Sketch goes to outline the different ways that people have died or gotten closer to God, all things that are very common, everyday things that should not result in death or any sort of harm. This is a really powerful song to me. And I love the way the album closes out with Western automatic music parts 1 and 2. I love the way they kind of weave into each other, but part 2 is just glorious. It has this beautiful dreamlike beat. It still has those dirty drums, but the soundscape that goes with the drums is beautiful. It almost sounds like a xylophone was recorded and then slowed down and kind of manipulated. I'm sure that's not what it actually is, but that's the way my non-producer brain processed it. And Billy Woods kicks it off doing what Billy Woods does. In my home, cold come through the floor like a malevolent force. It's a war going on inside, probably why I didn't lock the door. Most people are trying to escape the outside world by remaining in the house, but for Woods, the war is internal and he's waiting for the moment or the opportunity to escape. I'm not familiar with Colossal structure, but I love what they did on the track. Their melodic but slightly off-kilter singing did an excellent job breaking up Woods and Sketch's verse, and Sketch comes in and closes out the album perfectly. I really enjoyed the build-up at the end of this particular song where each line ends with "he's back to work," and then the album ends with "he's only good at fucking up and making art about it. He's back, it worked," which is pretty much the perfect summation of your common artist. So I've said time and time again that this deep into the life of hip hop, it's wild to see anyone who's finding a way to be inventive with rap music. So to find an album that truly sounds like nothing else happening right now, it's pretty exciting, you know, and I think exciting is a perfect word for this album. You know, it's exciting to see a producer creating beats that serve as such a diverse backdrop for an album like this. Like Jeff Markey, he gives beats that are dark and haunted, some are aggressive, some are legit beautiful, but they all fit so nicely together. And I think that takes a very special kind of producer to keep the sound varied while maintaining a consistent tone. It's also exciting seeing a rapper delivering bars unlike what you see from a lot of other rappers these days, right? Like, better or worse is subjective, but I don't think unique is quite as subjective. And that's what you get from Sketch's performance here. It's extremely unique, it's frantic, it's frenzied, and extremely impressive, you know, from a delivery standpoint, but also from a linguistic standpoint. And these two came together to create an album that, to me, is one of the best albums that I've heard so far this year. I know we're only in March. But yeah, it's not an album that you throw on and kind of just bob your head to. It sounds like it's genuinely meant to make you a bit uncomfortable or to challenge you. You know, the content of this album, the things that Sketch is talking about here, they aren't comfortable subjects, you know? So making the music almost equally as uncomfortable, I feel was a really nice touch. But yeah, I absolutely love this album. I forgot to mention earlier that this is his debut on Backwoods, so that means something to a lot of people, you know? But yeah, this album is fucking fantastic. I was kind of confused before about why he took so long to drop something between 2011 and now, but this was worth the wait. This was absolutely worth the wait. So if you've heard this album, drop some comments down there and let me know what you thought about it. If you've not checked out this album, you can go into the description section down there and click the Bandcamp link and check it out for yourself. Then come back and let me know what you thought about it. But yeah, as usual, thank you for living, thank you for loving, thank you for being you, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, peace out, boy.